Now we move on to the men, and we'll see 7th-seeded Paul Titscher of Germany taking on 2nd-seed Braden Gellenthien of the United States. Gellenthien will be on your right, and Titscher will be on your left, shooting at target number 1. Paul Titscher, 25 years old, currently 9th in the world rankings, has been ranked as high as 5th in the world back in 2010. He finished 8th at stage 1 in Shanghai. At stage 2 in Antalya, he upset 2-time World Cup champion Sergio Pagni in the early elimination rounds. Ultimately fell by just 2 points to Rio Wild in the semis, so you know he's capable. He also won a mixed team bronze medal at stage 3 in Ogden. Meanwhile, Braden Gellenthien comes in ranked 2nd in the world. He was number 1 back in April of 2011, and this year on the World Cup circuit won 4 medals, which is why he is here and ranked number 2, or seeded number 2 in this tournament.
Talking to Braden, I asked him how to sum up his 2012 season, and he was like, it's been a very consistent season for him, but there hasn't really been any major highs, but there also hasn't been any major lows. He's played the game of average, and he's happy with his performance, but he hasn't had the gold medals, he hasn't had the world records this year. But he said, I can't complain, I've shot well. It's just nothing exceptional.
Looking for that breakout, and there is the apparatus strapped to the leg of Braden Gellenthien. It's also on the leg of Paul Titscher, I noticed, and that will measure the heart rate. We'll see that during the course of this match, and it's a 9 to start off for Braden.
Just out. Sometimes those first shots where you're just reading the wind, sometimes at the end of the match you look back at that first shot that was just out, and it can be very costly sometimes.
So a 9 for Gellenthien, a 10 for Titscher. And Titscher takes the early lead as the young man from College Station, Texas, is just outside that center ring.
Fantastic grouping, but that's 2 points Braden really didn't want to lose.
You want to move that group over about an inch to the left.
Paul didn't seem happy with that shot.
And Gellenthien finishes off the end with a 10.
A few more clicks needed on the side there.
We probably have 29 for Braden Gellenthien.
Bring schön den Druck auf den Spot, Paul. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
And Titscher just outside. So basically we're still tied up 28-all. We are where we were when we started.
Yeah. I think that heart rate of, was that 65 from Paul there? That's pretty good going, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I'd be quite content with that.
I think mine would be off the charts.
Maybe to him, and maybe it is just a walk in the parquet. Maybe that's all it is.
That's the way it really has to be for these archers, because there is a lot of pressure, a lot of things at stake here. We've been talking about the prize money. We've been talking about the trophies. We've been talking about just pride.
Be honest with you, in my experience, the pride comes first. It's after the event you then think about the prize money and the prestigiousness of having it on your CV. And it's the pride on the day of winning that match. That's the key thing.
Makes dinner all that much better, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Sounds like the judges are struggling to pull the arrows out there. Of course, many of these guys will be shooting 60 pounds, and the arrows will be going down there at, most of them will be around 300 feet per second. So these are deadly weapons.
Let's talk about these bows, because for those who are perhaps watching for the first time, these bows are quite a bit different from what we'll see tomorrow with the recurve archers, because the hold weight is basically, what, a little bit less than half of the draw weight?
Yeah, they normally have what we call a 60% drop-off. So if we have a 50 pound at peak, we're then going to drop off to about 15 pound holding weight, which lets you be a lot more steadier, more consistent, and with the trigger device as well, the release aid, you can really have pinpoint accuracy.
And the arrows that these archers shoot will not have the same trajectory as the arrows we'll see tomorrow from the recurve archers. They go on a more direct line from 50 meters away. As Braden Gellenthien, boy, just about killed it.
Yeah, you can say he's got his sight set now.
A lot of folks back in College Station, Texas, watching Braden Gellenthien on a Friday night back in the United States.
9 points.
And there's a 9 for Paul Titscher.
He's putting on a brave face.
Was not pleased with that shot. And Gellenthien with a 1-point edge. Shoots a 9.
9 points.
And a 10 will tie it up again.
The weather conditions here are pretty perfect for shooting. It's
10,
not bright,
9.
it's not windy, it's quite cool.
9 points. 1 point.
To be honest with you, I didn't expect these guys to miss the 10 at all, really. I thought we might be looking at near perfect scores here. Whether it is the pressure of their event. Well,
And there you see some of the fire and the emotion of Braden Gellenthien as he finishes off that second end with a bullseye, and he's fired up about that.
that's
So
the
no
type
matter what Paul Titscher does here, Gellenthien will have the lead. It's just a matter of how much, and it's 2 points.
The first 6 of 15 arrows. 9 shots to go.
No, Braden will be happy with that.
Paul Titscher will shoot first when we resume.
Now coming up after this match, it'll be Dominique Genet facing Julio Ricardo Fierro, Mexico, followed by Peter Elzinga taking on Pierre-Julien Deloche, and then it'll be Rio Wild facing another Japanese archer, Onji Naoto. We have already seen one of the hometown archers pull off the biggest upset of the day.
I think most Japanese archers now are feeling pretty inspired.
And it will be interesting to see how many more fans turn out now that Hondo Yumiko has reached the semifinals. So Paul Titscher down by 2 points after the first 6 arrows. Titscher was in the finals last year in Istanbul, went out in the quarterfinals there, courtesy of Rio Wild. That was his first appearance ever in the World Cup finals. And he was ranked 19th at that time. This time he comes in ranked 9th in the world. But has his work cut out for him with Braden Gellenthien. Titscher to shoot first, trailing by 2.
Good start.
Gut, Paul. Auch schön geschossen jetzt.
Just as good a start for Braden Gellenthien, the marketing major.
Still giving a bit of a tweak on his sight there, so he's obviously not content.
Shoot 10 points.
All of a sudden, Titscher's found the range. Started off the match with a 10, then shot 5 straight 9s. Now he's got back-to-back bullseyes.
Shoot 10 points.
When Braden released that shot, he didn't look all that happy,
No,
did he?
I was expecting a 9 there as well.
But the gods were smiling, and it was a 10. So it's still a 2-point lead for Braden Gellenthien. And the pressure's still on, though, as 3 straight 10s in that end for Paul Titscher.
Well, all Titscher can do is shoot 10s, and he has to wait for his opponent to make the mistake.
No mistake there.
No.
Great grouping.
Now this is the form I expected. I expected 10s all the way. Maybe they've had this few ends just to settle down, relax, and now it's back to business.
85 out of a possible 90 points for Paul Titscher of Germany. His German teammate, Christine Berger, lost earlier today in a shootout by just millimeters, as Jamie Van Atta won by the skin of her teeth, so to speak. And there you can see some of the dark skies, the clouds hanging overhead, but no rain yet. There was rain this week during the practice sessions.
I think rain is sort of underselling what it was. It absolutely downpoured. Just went from being a sunny, mild day to being just like someone turned on the tap. It was crazy. To the point where if your match was happening, you would have to make some serious adjustments to your sight. That type of heavy rain would really push the arrows down. So even with these super fast compound bows, I still think you'd be aiming, you'd either move your sight or you'd have to aim like top 7. There was a lot of water.
Of course, there was a lot of water in London during the the Olympic archery sessions there, and I thought it added to some of the drama.
Always adds to the drama, gives us some great photo opportunities. But speaking as an athlete, oh, you can do without it.
All things considered, I'll take a sunny day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Paul Titscher with a 10 to start off the fourth end. So that's 4 straight 10s for Paul Titscher. Braden steady as a rock.
10 points.
And he matches Titscher's shot.
Fantastic. Actually, both these athletes, when I was talking to them, I asked them how they felt about being in the World Cup final, and their overriding message I kept getting from these two was, it's just a perfect end to the year. It's just less archers, it's a bit less formal, but it's also the pinnacle of our whole season, so there's a lot of pressure when you're on the shooting line, but off the line it's quite different because it's such a event. We don't have 300 archers here, we have just a handful, and both of them said this is a perfect end of their season, and they couldn't wish, well, the only wish they have is that they can end it on a medal.
Paul Titscher may very well do that as he's finding his way back in here. 3 straight 10s.
He's at least got 1 point back, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Surely Braden won't give him another.
10 will lead. It's a 10. 1 point lead for Braden Gellenthien.
Gellenthien responds, shoots a 10, and it's a 1 point match, 116 to 115 as we head to the 5th and final end here in Tokyo. Good point, though, that you make about that, I think, Michael. Michael Parrott, by the way, from Great Britain, joining us here on the broadcast or webcast today. Most archery tournaments, World Cup tournaments, other tournaments, there are 300 archers, and you have to go through many, many rounds of eliminations. And by the time you get to the gold medal or bronze medal match, it's been the end of a very, very long week. Here, you come, you practice, you compete.
Yes, and also with the World Cup, when we start, you might be going up against an archer. Your first match could be against an archer who's way down the ranking compared with yourself, so you can have a bit of a chance to find your feet, get your rhythm. Here you're already in the top 8. First match, you've probably got a champion, you've got a medalist, you haven't got an easy ride, so you have to come in and you can't afford to slip up. And maybe in this match both of them struggled a little bit at the start before they found their feet, so we're still left with a close score, but normally you have to come in with all guns blazing. You're not going to get a second chance at this level.
All that being said, we have had 2 matches today where things did not go according to plan or according to the script. Marcella Tonioli going out in the first match of the day, experiencing equipment problems, not able to release his shot, and that allowed Danielle Brown to advance to the semifinals. And then just moments ago, Honda Yumiko, the 8th seed, upsetting the number 1 seed, Albina Loganova. But here we are in the men's compound competition. A 1 point difference between Paul Titscher and Braden Gellenthien, and that is 7 consecutive 10s by Paul Titscher.
Yeah, Paul's got a simple task. Keep him in the 10.
It's a simple game, and there we're tied.
There we go.
That 9 means we're tied up with 2 arrows left to shoot. 125 all. And Titscher, who's on a roll right now, with 7 straight 10s. Can he make it 8? No.
No, and that's an 8 as well. That is uncharacteristic. To level up and then just hand it back, he's going to regret that one.
And Braden Gellenthien, not about to look the gift horse in the mouth, as we say in the States.
No, he's not.
Braden with a 10 regains a 2 point lead, down to the final arrow, down to 8 seconds, 7 seconds. There's the shot, and there's a 10. And a great way to end it for Paul Titscher, but right now, Braden Gellenthien only needs a 9, and he comes up with a 10, and he wins the match, and he'll advance to the semifinals. So that 8 on the next to last shot proved to be the difference.
Paul's going to be, sadly, he's going to be thinking about that shot for a while to come. That's ended his World Cup dream.
So Braden Gellenthien doffing his cap to the crowd here in Tokyo, as he is the winner of a very closely contested match with Paul Titscher of Germany. Titscher the 7th seed, Gellenthien the 2nd seed. Titscher was in a position
in the semifinals taking place this afternoon.
With 2 arrows to go to upset Braden Gellenthien, but Braden getting a big hug right there as he wins it. 145 out of a possible 150 points. And Braden Gellenthien wins it by 2 points, 145 to 143, but a valiant effort by Paul Titscher, I thought.
Yeah, he put up a good fight, but I can't help but say it. He's gonna have to get some counselling for that that 8 shot, I think.
A little bit of therapy, huh?
A little bit of therapy.